Please, we have nowhere to go. We are just kids. Zach's face hardened even more. Don't argue with me, he shouted, making Anna flinch. Peter started crying loudly again because of the shouting. Zach raised his hand as if he might hit Anna if she protested more. Pack up and get out now. And don't you dare tell anyone lies about me. You hear? If anyone asks, your mother died of sickness and you don't have a father. That's all. Anna was a little girl who lived in Lagos, Nigeria. She was just 7 years old. She lived with her family in a place called Ajunle. Ajunle was a very crowded slum area in Lagos. Many poor families lived there in small old houses. Anna's family lived in a tiny one-room house with a rusty iron roof. The walls had cracks and the floor was just dry brown earth. Anna's mother, Marian, tried her best to keep their home neat and warm. Marian sold fruits by the roadside to earn money. Every day, she arranged oranges, bananas, and mangoes in a big round tray. Then, she carried the tray on her head and walked along busy streets to sell the fruits to people passing by. Marian worked very hard, but the money she made was very little. Sometimes, it was barely enough to buy food and things for the baby. Anna had a baby brother named Peter. Peter was only 6 months old, still a tiny baby. He had big round cheeks and a soft smile. Anna loved her baby brother very much. Even though she was young herself, she helped her mother take care of him. She would rock Peter gently when he cried. She would play peekaboo and make funny faces to make him laugh. When their mother was busy, Anna would carefully change Peter's clothes and diaper and sing him a song. But not everything in Anna's life was happy. Anna's father, Zach, was a very difficult man. He was often angry and unkind. Zach did not have a job, so he did not earn any money for the family. Instead, he spent his days wandering around or sitting with other idle men. Sometimes, he drank alcohol and came home smelling bad and acting so mean. When he was upset, he would shout at Marian and at Anna. He even hit Marian sometimes. This made Anna very scared and sad. She loved her mother and hated to see her hurt. Marian always tried to protect her children from Zach's anger. She would tell Anna to take Peter into a corner or to a neighbor's house whenever Zach started yelling. Often, Anna would cover Peter's ears with her small hands so he wouldn't hear the shouting. Some nights, they could hear Zach and Marian fighting, and Anna would hug her baby brother tightly, praying for it to stop. Marian would say softly to Anna afterwards, "It's okay, my dear. Everything will be fine." But Anna knew that things were not okay. She saw the bruises on her mother's arms after Zach hurt her. She saw her mother cry quietly when she thought no one was looking. One sunny morning, Marian woke up feeling very ill. Her head was hot with fever and she was coughing a lot. She tried to get out of bed to prepare her fruit tray for the day, but she was too weak. When she stood up, she felt dizzy and almost fell. Anna ran to her side and helped her sit back down on the thin mattress that they all shared. "Mommy, you need to rest," Anna said in a gentle voice. Marian shook her head and tried to smile. "But Anna, I need to go out and sell fruit. We have no money for food today," she said weakly. Her voice was rough and low because her throat hurt from coughing. Anna looked at her mother with worry. Marian's face was sweaty and her eyes looked tired and dull. Anna had never seen her mother this sick before. She remembered that the night before, her mother had been caught in the rain while coming back from the market. Maybe that was why she was so sick now. Anna knew that if her mother did not sell fruits that day, they would have no money to buy food or medicine. Little Peter would need milk and diapers. They might all go hungry. Anna thought for a moment, then she placed her small hand on her mother's shoulder. "Mommy, I can sell the fruits today," Anna said. She tried to sound confident and brave, even though inside she felt a little scared. Marian opened her eyes wide in surprise. "Anna, you are only 7. Hawking fruits on the street is hard and dangerous," she replied, shaking her head gently. Hawking meant walking up and down busy roads to sell things, often weaving between cars and people. It was not a job for a small child. The traffic in Lagos could be crazy, and drivers often honked loud horns. People could be in a hurry and sometimes rude. Marian did not want her little girl to face that alone. But Anna insisted. She wiped her mother's sweaty forehead with a cool wet cloth. "Mommy, you always say I'm a strong girl. I can do it. We need money, and you are too sick to go. Please, let me help," Anna begged softly. Marian coughed a few times and then nodded slowly. She could see the determination in Anna's eyes. Anna was a helpful girl, and she loved her family. Marian realized she had no choice. She really was too weak to walk. "All right, Anna," she agreed quietly. "But please be very careful. Stay on the sidewalk and don't run into the road. And come home before it gets dark, okay?" Anna smiled a little and nodded. "I will, Mommy. I promise." Marian managed to lift the big tray of fruit and place it on Anna's head. The tray was filled with oranges, bananas, a few pineapples, and some mangoes. It was heavy for a small girl, but Anna balanced it carefully. She wrapped a small cloth into a donut shape and put it on her head under the tray to help balance the weight, just like she had seen her mother do many times. Her father, Zach, was not at home that morning. He had left the house early, though he didn't say where he was going. Maybe he went to look for a job or to meet his friends, but Anna doubted it was anything useful. She was relieved he wasn't there. If her father had been around, he might have shouted at them or tried to take any money she made. Now at least, she could try to help her mother without him causing trouble. Before Anna left, she checked on baby Peter. He was lying on a mat on the floor. Anna gently kissed her brother's cheek. "I'll be back soon, Peter. Be a good boy for Mommy," she whispered. As Anna stepped out of their little house, the bright Lagos sun hit her face. It was hot outside even though it was still morning. The air in Ajunle always smelled a bit like smoke and the nearby dirty canals. But there were also nice smells of people cooking breakfast, or coal stoves, and of ripe fruit from her tray. Anna walked down the dusty path that led to the main road. The ground was uneven, with puddles from last night's rain. She had to walk slowly and steadily so the tray wouldn't tip over. Soon, Anna reached the main road. It was busy as usual. Cars and yellow minibuses called down for zoomed by, honking horns. Motorcycle taxis, known as Okadas, weaved between the cars. There were many people on the sides of the road, some selling things like bread, sachets of water, or vegetables. Anna felt a little afraid to be out here alone, but she remembered her promise to her mother. She took a deep breath and began to call out in a clear voice, just as she had heard her mother do. "Orange, banana, sweet mango," Anna called, trying to sound grown up and confident. Suddenly, an Okada, zipped out from a side street right in front of Anna. She gasped and jumped back, nearly losing her balance. The oranges on her tray wobbled, and one orange fell off, rolling onto the sidewalk. The motorcycle driver swerved around her and shouted, "Watch where you are going," before speeding off into the traffic. Anna's heart was pounding. She quickly picked up the falling orange and put it back on the tray. "That was close," she whispered to herself, taking a deep breath to calm down. She reminded herself to stay close to the edge of the road and pay attention. As she walked along the sidewalk, a few people turned to look at her. Some were surprised to see such a young girl hawking fruits. One kind woman in a bright yellow dress stopped her. "Little girl, how much are your oranges?" the woman asked. "100 naira for one orange, ma," Anna replied politely. Her mother had taught her always to be respectful to customers, calling them sir or ma, madam. The woman picked 2 oranges from Anna's tray. She felt sorry to see a child walking on the street, so she gave Anna a 500 naira note. "Keep the change, my dear," she said with a soft smile. That meant Anna got 300 naira extra. Anna was surprised and grateful. "Thank you, ma. God bless you, ma," Anna said, beaming with relief and happiness. This was a good start. Anna continued walking and selling fruits. She called out to people passing by, and some stopped to buy bananas or mangoes from her. After a while, an old man with a walking stick waved at her. He wanted to buy some bananas. The elderly man took 2 bananas from her tray. As Anna was about to tell him the price, the man looked at her closely and asked, "My child, why are you out here all alone? Where is your mother?" "My mother is sick, sir," Anna answered softly. The old man shook his head sadly and gave her the money for the bananas. He even added a little extra and said, "I'm sorry to hear that. Make sure you take good care of her, okay? And be careful out here." Anna nodded and smiled a little. "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir," she replied. His kindness made her feel a bit better and gave her strength to keep going. Not everyone was kind though. A short while later, as Anna walked past a bus stop, a rough-looking man suddenly reached out, grabbed a banana from her tray, and started to walk away quickly. He didn't give her any money. He was trying to steal it. "Hey, you didn't pay," Anna cried out, her voice tiny compared to the noise of the street. For a second, she was afraid to chase him, but she knew it was wrong for him to take the banana without paying. A nearby bus driver noticed what happened. He was a big man and he shouted at the thief, "Ole, thief, return that now." Some other people at the bus stop also looked at the man angrily. The thief became scared of being caught, so he dropped the banana on the ground and ran off. Anna quickly picked up the banana. Her heart was beating fast and her hands were shaking from the scare. "Thank you," she said to the bus driver and the others who had helped. But the bus driver had already gone back to ushering passengers into his bus. Anna was relieved that she didn't lose the fruit or the money. Being out here truly was hard, just as her mother had said. By noon, the sun was high and very hot. Anna was sweating, and her feet ached from all the walking. The tray felt heavier and heavier on her head. She knew she needed a little rest. She found a bit of shade under a large umbrella where another hawker was selling roasted corn. The corn seller was an older girl named Bola, who looked about 12 years old. Bola saw how tired Anna was and offered her a piece of roasted corn. "You are very small to carry that load," Bola said kindly. "Where is your mother?" Anna explained that her mother was sick and that she was selling fruit in her place for the day. Bola shook her head in sympathy. She gave Anna a cup of water from a cooler. "Be careful out there," Bola warned, "and make sure you go home soon. You shouldn't be alone too long." "Thank you," Anna said, grateful for the food and water. She ate the sweet corn hungrily and drank the water. She hadn't realized how thirsty she was. After resting for a short while, Anna felt a bit better. She thanked Bola again and decided it was time to continue and then head home. By late afternoon, most of the fruit were sold. Only a couple of oranges and one pineapple were left on the tree. Anna decided it was time to go home to her mother and baby brother. She had made some money, a few thousand naira in notes and coins that she kept tucked safely in her dress pocket in the small purse her mother had given her. Anna felt proud that she had worked hard and helped her family. She was excited to tell her mother how well she did and to give her the money so that they could buy food and maybe medicine. As she began to walk back to their house, the sun started to go down. The sky was turning orange and pink. Anna realized she needed to hurry because she promised to be home before dark. She walked as quickly as she could with the tray on her head. On the way, she imagined how happy her mother would be that she sold almost everything. Maybe her father would even be proud of her, she thought, though she wasn't sure. When Anna reached their neighborhood, the narrow paths between the shacks were already in shadow. She passed by neighbors sitting outside their rooms, cooking or talking. A few of them noticed Anna with the big tray and murmured in surprise that Marian's little girl was hawking alone. Anna politely greeted an old lady who was sweeping her doorstep. Then she rushed on towards her own home. Anna opened the wooden door of their house and went inside. The room was dim, lit only by the last light of dusk coming through the small window. She immediately heard baby Peter crying loudly. The sound made her heart jump in concern. Marian was lying on the mattress, looking even more weak than before. Her face was pale, and she was barely sitting up. She had tried to pick up Peter to comfort him, but did not have the strength. Now Peter lay on the bed next to her, wailing unhappily. Marian was coughing and looking distressed, trying to calm the baby with a weak pat on his belly. Anna quickly set down the fruit tray in a corner and hurried to her mother and brother. "Mommy, I'm back," she said softly. She gently picked up Peter, who was hot and tearful, and rocked him. "I'm here, Peter," she whispered to the baby. He started to calm down in her arms, but little whimpers still came out. Marian gave Anna a tired smile of relief. "Thank God, you are back," she whispered. "Did you sell the fruits?" "Yes, Mommy," Anna nodded. "I sold almost everything. I got money for us. How are you feeling?" Before Marian could answer, Anna heard a rustling sound behind her. She turned and noticed her father, Zach, was also in the room, standing by the old wooden table in the corner. Anna hadn't seen him immediately in the dim light. Her father's face was stern. He didn't look happy to see Anna, even though she had worked so hard. On the table was an old plastic bowl where Marian usually kept their earnings and any small savings. Zach's large, rough hand was in the bowl. Anna saw that he was taking money out of it. The money she had just earned that day, and perhaps the small amount Marian had saved hidden there. Anna realized at once what was happening. Her father was taking all their money. Her mother needed that money for medicine and food. Baby Peter needed milk. They all needed that money to survive. If her father took it, he would likely spend it on alcohol or waste it as he had done before. A surge of anger and protectiveness rose in the little girl. For the first time in her life, Anna felt bold enough to speak up to her father. "Daddy, stop!" Anna shouted, her voice high and shaking a bit. "That money is for Mommy's medicine and for food for Peter and me. Please don't take it." Zach turned around, surprised that Anna had dared to raise her voice at him. His eyes narrowed and he scored. He was not used to being questioned, especially by his 7-year-old daughter. Anna's heart pounded in fear, but she did not back down. She clutched baby Peter tightly in her arms as if protecting him. "What did you say to me?" Zach growled, stepping towards Anna. His breath smelled of alcohol and his eyes were bloodshot. Anna could smell the sour odor from where she stood. It made her feel sick, but she stood her ground. She was more worried about her mother and baby brother than about herself at that moment. Anna's small hands trembled, but she kept her chin up. "Daddy, we need that money," she said more softly, almost pleading now. "Mommy is very sick. She needs a doctor or medicine. Peter needs milk and maybe new diapers. You can't just take everything. We worked hard for that money." Zach's face twisted in anger. He did not want to listen. In his mind, he was the man of the house, and he thought he could do whatever he wanted. He was a big man, tall and strong, and he towered over little Anna. "You foolish girl," he shouted. "How dare you tell me what to do? I am your father. You think because you sold some fruits, you can talk to me like that?" Marian, lying on the mattress, opened her eyes when she heard Anna yelling and Zach's angry voice. Her heart filled with fear for her daughter. She saw Zach stepping toward Anna, who was holding the baby. Summoning her remaining strength, Miriam forced herself to sit up and reach out a hand. "Zach, please," she cried weakly. "Leave her alone. She's just a child and the baby." Miriam's voice was cut off by a fit of coughing. Still, she moved, sliding off the bed and stumbling between Zach and Anna. She put herself in front of Anna to shield both her and Peter. But Zach was furious. He was not thinking clearly. In his anger, he raised his hand and slapped Anna hard across the face. His large palm struck the side of her head and cheek. Anna cried out in pain as the slap knocked her off balance. She fell against the wooden door frame with a thud. Her cheek burned and turned red where he hit her, and her head rang with a buzzing sound. Tears sprang to her eyes, both from the stinging pain and from the shock that her own father had hit her so hard while she was holding her baby brother. Peter, in her arms, started screaming again from the sudden jolt and the loud noise. Marian screamed in horror. "No, Anna!" Without thinking of herself, she threw herself at Zach to push him away from the children. Though she was weak and sick, a mother's love gave her a burst of strength. She grabbed Zach's arm, trying to keep him from hitting Anna again or hurting the baby. "How dare you hit our daughter?" Marian shouted at Zach, her voice fierce despite how weak she was. "What kind of a father are you? She's a child. She was trying to help us because I'm sick. And you want to take our money and hurt her. Shame on you." Zach was stunned for a moment. Marian rarely ever fought back or yelled at him, but he quickly became even angrier, feeling challenged and disrespected. "You think you can stop me?" He snarled at his wife. "You useless woman, you dare shout at me now?" He shoved Marian hard with both hands. Marian, already unsteady on her feet, fell backward. She had no strength to catch herself properly. With a cry, she crashed down onto the hard floor, her back hitting the edge of the bed frame on the way down. "Mommy!" Anna screamed, seeing her mother fall. Still holding baby Peter tightly, she scrambled to her mother's side as fast as she could. Marian gasped in pain. She lay on the floor, her body half against the bed, her face twisted in agony. The fall had hurt her badly. She felt a terrible sharp pain in her side, and she was even more dizzy now. She tried to sit up but couldn't. Seeing his wife and daughter on the ground did not soften Zach's heart at all. He just snorted in anger and disgust. He reached down to snatch up the last few naira notes that had spilled onto the floor from the bowl during the scuffle. He stuffed the crumpled money into his pocket along with what he had already taken. "You are all just burdens on me," Zach shouted, his voice full of cruelty. "I'm going out. Don't expect me to spend any money on medicine or anything. If you are sick, that's your problem, not mine." With that, he turned and stomped out of the house, letting the rickety door slam behind him. In the silence that followed, they could hear his footsteps fade away onto the evening as he left. As soon as Zach left, the little room fell quiet except for the sounds of baby Peter's frightened crying and Marian's soft painful groans. Anna was shaking all over and tears were flowing down her cheeks, but she tried to stay brave for her mother and brother. She knelt next to Marian on the floor, still holding Peter, and gently touched her mother's shoulder. Mommy, are you okay?" Anna asked in a trembling voice. Marian's eyes were closed and her face was wet with tears and sweat. She was breathing, but it was a raged, uneven breath. Anna carefully set baby Peter down on the mattress, where he continued to cry. She then used both hands to help her mother sit up a little. Marian cried out softly as the movement caused her pain. Anna's own cheek was still throbbing from the slap, and now that her father was gone, she let out a sob of her own, but she quickly tried to hush herself, biting her lip. She didn't want to upset her mother more. "It's not your fault, Anna," Marian whispered as she opened her eyes and saw her daughter's frightened face. She could see the bright red mark on Anna's cheek, and it broke her heart. "You were very brave," she managed to say between shallow breaths. "Thank you for standing up for us." Anna's eyes filled with tears. She felt guilty, thinking that if she hadn't spoken up, maybe her father wouldn't have hit them. But deep down, she also knew that her father might have hurt them anyway, because he often became violent for no good reason. Still, she wished she could have done something to protect her mother. "You need to lie down, Mommy," Anna said gently. She helped her mother move slowly to the mattress. Every small movement made Marian wince in pain, but together they managed to get her up from the floor. Marian was so weak now that her whole body trembled and she could hardly hold herself up. Anna laid her mother down carefully on the mattress. Marian's breathing sounded worse than before, wheezing and catching. Baby Peter was still crying hard. Anna picked him up again and tried to calm him, rocking him back and forth. "Shh, it's okay, Peter," she whispered with a broken voice. "We're here with you. Please don't cry." Eventually, Peter's cries lessened into a soft whimpers, but he continued to cling to Anna, sensing the fear and tension around him. The sky outside had turned fully dark now. The only light in the room came from a small kerosene lamp that flickered on the table. Anna reached out and turned up the wick a little so it would be brighter. Shadows danced on the cracked walls as the flame flickered. Anna looked down at her mother, who lay very still on the mattress. Marian's eyes were closed, her face shiny with sweat, and her breath were shallow. She looked as if it took effort for each breath. Anna was extremely worried now. Her mother seemed to be getting worse by the minute. Anna thought desperately about what she could do. They had no money. Her father had taken it all. She had no phone to call for help, and even if she did, who would she call? In their slum, ambulances or doctors didn't usually come, especially for people who had no money. She thought about their neighbor, Mama Bisi, who lived in the next shack. Mama Bisi was kind, but she was old and hardly to herself. And at this late hour, most neighbors were either asleep or intentionally ignoring the noise because they didn't want to get involved in Zach's family troubles. In their crowded neighborhood, people often had fights or crying, but most kept to themselves, afraid to step into someone else's conflict, especially conflict involving a man like Zach, who had a bad temper. Anna considered running to get help from anyone, but she couldn't leave her sick mother and her baby brother alone, and she was afraid. afraid of the dark outside, and afraid that if she left, something bad might happen to her mother before she got back. She felt trapped and helpless. Marian suddenly started coughing again, a terrible wet cough that sounded as if it tore at her chest. Anna quickly set Peter down on the bed and brought the cup of water to her mother's lip. "Here, mommy, drink," she said, lifting her mother's head slightly. Marian tried to drink, but she was coughing so much that only a few drops passed her lips. She lay back, gasping for air. Anna could see tears of pain in her mother's eyes. Anna knelt beside her mother and took her hand. "Mommy, please hold on," she whispered, voice quavering. I will take care of you, I promise. You are going to be okay. I'll find a way." But Anna was very afraid that her mother might not be okay. She had never seen anyone so sick before, and she didn't know what to do. Marian's hand was cold and trembling in Anna's small hand. Marian opened her eyes a little and looked at Anna. She could barely focus, but she heard Anna's voice. She saw her mother's face, bruised and full of worry, and it pained her. With great effort, Marian squeezed Anna's hand lightly. "Anna," Marian whispered in a voice so soft it was almost a breath. I'm sorry." "Sorry? For what, mommy?" Anna asked, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, I can't take care of you and Peter," Marian gasped out. She had to pause to catch a breath. "You have been such a good girl, such a brave girl." "No, mommy, don't say that," Anna sobbed, shaking her head. She wiped her tears quickly with her free hand. "You are trying to get better. You will, and I will take care of you and Peter. We'll be okay. Please, mommy, you have to be okay." Marian fought to keep her eyes open. She knew in her heart she might not last much longer, and she had things she needed to see. With the last bit of strength in her, she continued, "Anna, listen to me." Her eyes found her daughter's, and Anna sniffled and tried to stop crying to listen closely. "Always remember, I love you, and I love Peter. You two are my world." "We love you too, mommy," Anna whimpered, squeezing her mother's hand. Marian gave a tiny nod. She was struggling to get enough air, and her chest was hurting. Her voice came in faint spots. "Take care of baby Peter. He needs you. He has only you now." Anna's eyes went wide with fear as she realized what her mother was saying. "No, mommy, no, please don't leave us," she cried, her voice breaking. She clutched her mother's hand with both of hers as if she could keep her from slipping away. Marian used her other hand to weakly touch Anna's cheek, the one Zach had slapped. Even her fingertips felt cold. She gently wiped at the tears on Anna's face. "My sweet child, be strong," she whispered. It was barely a breath. "Promise me you will protect Peter." Tears blurred Anna's vision. She nodded quickly, choking in sobs. I promise, mommy," she said. I'll take care of Peter, I promise." A faint smile passed over Marian's lips. Her eyes, which had been filled with pain, now looked at peace. "My good girl," she breathed. Anna felt her mother squeeze her hand one more time, very lightly. Then Marian's hand went limp and slipped away from Anna's fingers. Marian's eyes closed slowly. Anna saw her mother's chest rise once, then fall, and then it did not rise again. Marian's face relaxed, the lines of pain easing away. "Mommy, mommy!" Anna cried out, panic in her voice. She gently shook her mother's shoulder. Marian didn't respond at all. Anna pressed her ear on her mother's chest, listening desperately for a heartbeat or a breath, but she had nothing except the ringing in her own ears and the distant shape of crickets outside. She realized with horror that her mother wasn't moving anymore. No, mommy, please, Anna whimpered. She hugged her mother's still body tightly, as if her hug could bring her back. But Marian was gone. Baby Peter began to cry again, a thin wail, as if he too felt the loss in the air. Anna, tears pouring down her face, picked up her baby brother and held him close. She curled up next to her mother's body on the mattress with Peter in her arms. Peter's crying quieted to soft whimpers as Anna held him, the two children clinging to each other. Anna felt more alone than she had ever felt in her life. In one day, everything had gone so wrong. She was bruised and tired, and now her beloved mother was gone forever. And she held Peter, who was now falling asleep against her from exhaustion. Anna remembered the promise she made to her mother. Through her tears, she whispered into the silent darkness, "I will take care of you, Peter. I promise, mommy. I will." That night, Anna cried until she had no more tears. She kept baby Peter close to her, gently rocking him even as he slept. The entire world outside was quiet, but inside Anna's heart, there was a storm of sadness. Still, he held onto her mother's final words. She knew that somehow she had to be strong for her brother now. Early the next morning, the sky was pale grey and the air was cool inside the tiny house in Ajunle. Anna was awake, sitting on the floor and leaning against the wall. She had not really slept all night. How could she sleep after everything that had happened? Peter was awake too, forcing in her arms, probably hungry and uncomfortable. He didn't understand what was wrong, but he could feel that his mother was not there and that Anna was scared. As the first weak light of dawn came through the window, the door creaked open. Zach, Anna's father, walked in. He had been out all night and he looked tired and annoyed. He probably expected to find Marian awake and making breakfast or doing chores, but instead, he saw the dim scene. Marian lying very still on the mattress and Anna sitting nearby holding the baby. The kerosene lamp had burned out, so the room was early morning shadow. Zach frowned, not immediately understanding the situation. "Why are you sitting there doing nothing?" he grumbled at Anna. "And why is the baby crying like that? Where is your mother?" Anna lifted her head to look at her father. In the faint light, Zach could now see that Marian was lying on the bed and wasn't moving. He also saw Anna's tear-stained face and the dried blood near Marian's mouth from when she had coughed so hard. Suddenly, he realized that Marian was not moving at all. "Marian," he called roughly, stepping forward. There was no answer. He nudged her leg with his foot. "Marian, get up," he said, as if scolding her for sleeping in. Anna felt a surge of anger and pain. How could he be so cold? Mommy is gone," she said quietly, her voice hoarse from crying. Zach blinked and stared at Marian's unmoving body. He realized that her chest was not moving at all. She was not breathing. He leaned down and put a hand on her shoulder, shaking it a little. "Marian," he shouted, but there was still no response. Marian's skin felt cold to his touch. Zach drew back, his eyes wide. For a moment, he was shocked. Anna watched her father. She couldn't tell if he was sad or just surprised. After a few seconds, Zach stood up straight. He ran his hand through his hair and cursed under his breath. He did not shed a tear for his wife. Instead, he turned his attention to Anna and Peter. "This is just great," he muttered angrily, though it seemed like he was talking to himself. "Now, I have 2 children to feed and no wife to take care of them. How am I supposed to manage this?" Anna's heart pounded. She didn't know what her father was going to do. Would he finally care for them now that mommy was gone? Or would he be even meaner? She hugged baby Peter tightly to protect him. Zach paced the small room, stepping over Marian's body without care. He was thinking hard, but not about how to comfort his children. He was thinking about himself. He did not want to be burdened with a baby and a 7-year-old. He had plans, and taking care of kids was not part of them. A few neighbors who lived close by had started to wake up and heard Zach's loud voice. One neighbor, Mama Bisi, peeked in through the open door to see what was happening. She saw Marian lying there and gasped, covering her mouth. She realized Marian was dead. Mama Bisi had liked Marian and felt very sorry, but she was also afraid of Zach, who was known to be violent. She didn't dare step inside without permission, so she hurried up to tell another neighbor so they could maybe help with the situation. Inside, Zach finally stopped pacing and faced Anna. He had a stern, hard expression on his face. "Listen to me, Anna," he said sharply. "Your mother is dead. I can't do anything about that now." His voice had no sadness, just frustration. Anna felt tears in her eyes again, hearing the word dead. But she bit her lip and tried to stay calm for Peter's sake. Zach continued, "I have no job and no money because I had to spend what what I had, and I don't have any way to take care of you too." He spoke as if it was somehow their fault that money was gone. He walked over to Anna and looked down at her and the baby. "Get up," he ordered. Anna stood up slowly, still holding Peter, who whimpered softly. She was trembling, unsure of what her father was going to do. Zach went to the corner of the room and grabbed an old worn-out baby bag. It was a small sack Miriam used to carry baby things. Zach tossed it toward Anna. "Pack whatever you might need for the baby," he said gruffly. "Some clothes, whatever. Be quick about it." Anna's eyes widened in fear and confusion. "Daddy, what do you mean?" she asked quietly. She had a terrible feeling about what he was saying. "I mean, you are leaving," Zach snapped. "You and that baby, you need to go. I don't want you here." A cold shock went through Anna. He was sending them away. He was their father. How could he just throw his children out on the street? Where were they supposed to go? But Daddy," Anna stammered, tears starting to roll down her cheeks again. "This is our home. Where will we go?" Zach scolded. "I don't know, and I don't care," he said harshly. "Go find someone who will take you in. I can't look after you. I have my own life to live." Anna was crying openly now, but she tried to speak between sobs. "Please, we have nowhere to go. We are just kids." Zach's face hardened even more. "Don't argue with me," he shouted, making Anna flinch. Peter started crying loudly again because of the shouting. Zach raised his hand as if he might hit Anna if she protested more. "Pack up and get out now. And don't you dare tell anyone lies about me. You hear? If anyone asks, your mother died of sickness and you don't have a father. That's all." Anna nodded weakly, afraid that if she didn't, he might hurt her or Peter. She wiped her face on her dress sleeve and tried to calm Peter by rocking him gently. Then, with trembling hands, she grabbed the small baby bag. She put into it a few baby clothes for Peter and a baby blanket and a half packet of diapers that was in the corner. She also took a feeding bottle that was by the bed. There was no baby milk or formula because they couldn't afford much, but she took a small tin cup that her mother used to mash and feed him soft pap, a kind of baby cereal, when they had it. It wasn't much at all, but it was all she had for her brother. She also gently took the family's only framed photo from a little shelf. It was a picture of her mother, Marian, holding baby Peter and smiling, with Anna standing beside her. Zach wasn't in the photo. Anna wanted to keep this picture to remember her mother by. She carefully placed the photo in the bag between some clothes so it wouldn't break. Zach watched her impatiently. When Anna finished packing those few things, he nodded. He took one last look at Marian's body on the mattress and clicked his tongue, as if she was an inconvenience even in death. He muttered, "I will take care of this." Perhaps meaning he would handle the burial or call someone to remove the body, but he gave no details to Anna. Instead, Zach walked to the door and motioned with his hand for Anna to leave. "Go on, get out, and don't come back," he said coldly. Tears were flowing down Anna's face, but she knew she had no choice. She adjusted Peter in her arms, making sure he was wrapped in his blanket. She picked up the baby bag with her other hand. With a heavy, broken heart, Anna walked out of the only home she had ever known, carrying her baby brother. As she stepped out into the narrow lane, she saw a couple of neighbors gathered at a distance whispering. They looked at her with pity, but none of them came forward. They were afraid of Zach and unsure what to do.